Good evening, everyone. My name is Yolanda Trotman, and welcome to the conversation. I'm excited. This is our last show for this season for 2019. We are picking back up on January the 9th with the 2020 season. The show has really exceeded our expectations since we began in September. So this final show is particularly special because not only does it wrap up the season, it's a show that is designed to really impact, I hope, each of you in a very significant way, because we're talking about your health. And we're talking about the things that are so important to understand about your body on a very basic level, but things that you can do in your everyday life to be able to have a healthier you. So I am excited about tonight's guest. But of course, as always, if you have not done so already, make sure that you subscribe to Square Media Network on YouTube. Make sure that you are following us specifically at The Conversation with Yolanda Trotman on Facebook, and make sure that you are also in touch with us both through the YouTube. Both through YouTube and through the Instagram at the Conversation _pod show. So if you're not subscribing, if you've not liked us yet, if you've not followed us yet, make sure you do that tonight, because we are changing a little bit of the format next year in terms of involving more of our viewers as far as questions, and of course making it more interactive. So tonight's show we call Life-Changing Health Nuggets. And came up with the idea of this because, quite frankly, in our community, specifically in the Black community, we are having major health challenges. I don't know if it's fair to say to call it a health crisis, but we are getting there, especially for our young people, in terms of dealing with obesity and other health-related issues. And, of course, for all of us, regardless of whatever age we are, and at the core of all of that in terms of health and wellness, surprisingly, are preventative measures that we can do to be able to make ourselves healthier. So, of course, I had to bring on Dr. Renee, and I lovingly call her Dr. Renee, but her full name is Dr. Renee Gilmore Rouson of Total Touch Chiropractic Wellness. And she and I met in 2016.
Yes.
In 2016, after I was in a car wreck in Huntersville, and my best friend, shout out to Amy, I'm sure she's watching, recommended her and said she came highly recommended, of course. And I've got to be honest with you guys. I have had, up until that point, really bad experiences with chiropractors, like really bad experiences. So much so that I vowed I probably would never see another chiropractor, even if it was something that was recommended, from experiences of feeling like it was a cattle call type of a situation where it was fear mongering. To even going to someone who pegged themselves as a holistic chiropractor, and that was not the case as well, and ended up doing more damage to myself than actually healing. So long story short, I meet Dr. Renee, and I told her from day one, like, I've had some bad experiences with chiropractors, and what she did was not only educate me about chiropractic care and about the human body, and we were able to talk on a level that I've never been able to do before. But literally, you guys, she helped to change my life, both physically and beyond that, in terms of getting in touch with where my weaknesses have been for me internally, and then helping to address them in a way to really make a difference. So I am so excited to introduce to you all Dr. Renee. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to the show. So I originally call it an apple a day, because the old saying goes, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And anytime you hear those old so-called, it's kind of a pejorative term now, old wives' tale. Mm-hmm. But every time that you hear something along those lines, there actually is some truth behind that. And so I noticed through your social media that you were starting to do these health nuggets, when you were starting to talk about small things, practical things in terms of what people can do to avoid illness and to make themselves healthier. So before we get into like who you are as a person, when I say to you, what does it mean to be healthy? Not necessarily in one sense physically or emotionally, but what does that mean to you?
It's a combination. It's just not one thing. It's the state of being physically, mentally, and chemically balanced, homeostasis, basically in a balance. Because not only physically do you have to be, but you also need to be mentally balanced as well. So it's just like a combination of all of those things. It's not about lack of symptoms. It's about balance, you know, because a lot of times, well, I don't hurt, so I'm healthy. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy.
Right.
You know, are you physically, mentally healthy, physically? So it's a combination of things, you know.
And so what does your practice specifically do to help address the whole person?
First, of course, I'm a chiropractor, so making sure that the spine is in proper alignment. But in addition to that, making sure that you are not deficient in vitamins and minerals, because those are the foundations. You know, so if you lack vitamins and minerals, or either, as we say, macronutrients, your proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, the healthy ones, of course, and then also, if you're not healthy physically, like things are not proper aligned, there's impingements along the spinal column, blocking off nerve flow to the different organs and tissues throughout the body, that can affect you over time. So in my office, I look at not only the spine, but also making sure that you are not deficient. Because if you're deficient, it's going to affect your systems in your body. It's going to affect all 11 systems of the body.
So before we get into that part, in terms of what chiropractic care means in a practical sense and dispelling some of those myths that people have about it, I want to talk about you. Who is Dr. Renee? Now, first, tell us how you came up with the name of the business, which is Total Touch Chiropractic Wellness Center.
Well, 21 years ago.
21 years. I had no idea it was that long.
Yes.
Wow.
21 years ago.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So 21 years ago, when I opened Total Touch Chiropractic Wellness Center, the whole concept was to have a wellness center.
Right.
You know, it encompasses all different avenues of health and wellness and well-being. So total care is what I thought about. You know, at some point in time, I thought that I would have, you know, different entities, you know, within it. But now I just pretty much, you know, refer out, you know, to different, you know, massage therapists or colon hydrotherapists, different things. But just the total wellness.
Right.
So it just wasn't about the chiropractic 21 years ago. It was about just the whole being healthy.
Right.
So
I asked you, of course, and this is per the conversation, and how we get to know you is through pictures. And we use the pictures to help. See, I didn't tell you that. I just said, send me pictures. You're like, why do you need them? Just trust me. We got this. So the first one is, okay, here we go. All right, we're going to come back because we are having a technical difficulty.
Be careful what you send people.
Right. Because what in the world? All right, so here we go. All right. No, we're in. What in the? Okay. So tell us, while we're waiting for that to come up. So tell us, where were you born?
Newark, New Jersey.
Okay. And so how did you end up coming down here to Charlotte?
So I grew up in New Jersey. I went to school in North Carolina. I'm an Aggie Pride.
Okay.
North Carolina A&T State University.
All right.
And I went to chiropractic school in Marietta, Georgia.
Now, did you come right out of undergrad and decide on chiropractic care?
No, actually, in a roundabout way. There's a story behind that too. But I actually went to dental school for a year. I went to University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey for a year.
Okay.
Had a full ride and realized that wasn't my calling, although I thought it was.
And how did you decide that?
Actually, I was discouraged about attending chiropractic school because I was told that they weren't real doctors. You know, like when I was in college, I was told that. I was like, no, the counselor was like, they're not real doctors. You should go to, you know, because I was torn between the two. I felt like chiropractic was so fascinating that you can heal people with your hands.
Right.
And I was really thinking about that. I had went to a dental school program, and when I was there, I was like, I don't know if I really like it because they had you hands on in the lab,
in folk mouths out
there. Yeah. So I was like, so I didn't know for sure. So it started swaying me more towards chiropractic. But to be honest, my counselor, they was really trying to be beneficial, trying to help me. they was like, they're not real doctors. You shouldn't go to chiropractic school. I would go to dental school.
So when you first heard that, because you had done your own research to understand what chiropractic care was at that point, or had you?
Yeah, I had done some research, but you're like 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, and you're listening to a counselor who's a doctor that's been there, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe they're right, So, but what I realized once I did go there, that it wasn't for me.
Right.
So I had to go through my own experience to say, hey, let me go back to, you don't have that picture up. Let me go back to the foundation of really what I wanted to do.
Okay. So now we're going to step back in time a little bit. So before you became Dr. Renee, this was young Renee.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little blurry. Oh, it's okay.
That's a good thing. It's blurry.
Now, how old were you in this picture?
I think I was in kindergarten. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So why did you pick this picture?
Just because I was trying to find pictures. Not in particular, but that was the one with the red suit, and that was one of the, you know how you have a few pictures that your mom has hanging up on?
Right.
That was one of the ones. Not that it was my favorite, it's just that she had a picture hanging up, and I took a picture of, and I just grabbed that picture, and I was like, oh, okay.
So what were you like as a kid?
I was very quiet, actually. I was
really?
very quiet, yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah. I was very quiet. See, I was the baby of the family.
Yes.
So
I was a baby too.
He was.
There was no quiet. No quiet at all.
I think I was kind of quiet. I used to sing a lot though. Can't sing, but used to sing a lot. But I used to keep to myself a lot when I was younger.
Now, how many brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, one sister.
And so, what's the age difference?
The age is my oldest sister. She's 5 years older than me, and my brother and I were 17 months apart.
Oh wow!
Yeah, everybody used to think we were twins.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, and we used to fight.
How now? A lot or just a little?
A lot. We used to fight. 1 minute we would be playing like over here, like all friendly, and the next thing, I hate you, boom, boom, fighting.
Right. Now, are you still in New Jersey at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so now, did you graduate from New Jersey and make your way down to North Carolina?
Yes. I graduated from high school, and then I went to A&T.
Okay, I don't want to get too far here.
Okay, yeah.
Just wanted to see if you were still there.
I was still there.
So, kindergarten, first grade, quiet. How do you think your teachers would have described you at that point? The same or no?
I was such a pleasant child.
Oh, really?
Yes, very much so.
And so, were you a quiet leader, or did you tend to be a little bit more introverted?
Maybe in between. Maybe lead sometimes when leading was necessary, but not like stepping out there and just taking the bull by the horns.
Right.
I really wasn't a follower. I kind of danced to my own drum.
Did your own thing.
Yeah, I did my own thing.
And so, as the baby and your brother being so close in age, did you find that there was a lot of competition in school, or you all kind of had your own separate identities?
I was kind of smart, so he was.
Is he watching?
Yeah, hopefully he's watching. Hey, bro, no, he knows we always had this healthy competition.
Very good.
I would think so. I would think so, but. It was just different. I was the type of kid where, I didn't want to miss school. Perfect attendance was very important to me.
Wow.
I like school, actually.
And did you keep perfect attendance?
I did, actually. I did.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
I could be sick. I want to go to school. That's how I used to be, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Now, then this one I like, because is that your dad in the background?
That is my dad in the background. And believe it or not, I look like about a 7-year-old on that, But I was probably about 11 or 12 in that picture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so I like the way, what I noticed in this picture and what stuck out to me, it looks the way I don't know what you're doing or what kind of event this was, but I was immediately drawn to the expression on your dad's face. I don't know if that was something that was important to you, but just his expression, like he looked so proud of whatever was going on.
Yeah.
He was incredibly proud.
We used to have those basement parties back in the day.
Yes.
I think that
I know you were not at the basement party. No,
the basement
ma'am.
Party. Yeah. I think that was my sister's birthday party. And I probably couldn't hang out too much because I was the youngest.
Right.
So I could just go down for a little bit and just say hey to everybody, and then I had to go back upstairs.
Ah,
but
okay.
that is our basement. We were going downstairs.
Okay. And so at that point, now how would you describe in terms of your childhood memories what it was like growing up in New Jersey?
Oh, I had great childhood memories. We used to walk everywhere. It was so much stuff to do. There was parks. You know, in the summertime, we had police athletic lead. You know, you can get jobs back there as a kid.
Right.
The neighborhood was a close niche type of neighborhood. We had nosy neighbors that would tell on
Don't
you.
you miss that
Yeah,
though?
They would
like
tell on
neighbors that would tell it, and before you got home, it was on.
Yes.
Or, you know, you may have gotten it before you got home.
Right.
Yeah.
And my mother, she had a bowling league for a block. So it was the North Maple Associates. So on Friday nights, everybody in the hood, in the neighborhood, we would go to the bowling alley, and we had this league, and it was just great. I had a great childhood.
Were you a good bowler?
Yeah, actually, I really was.
Okay. All right. And so is this graduation, high school graduation?
High school graduation.
Now tell me about this, Renee. How has she
Yes.
changed from first grade, middle school, Renee? How has she changed?
Oh, I was a model back then.
Oh, girl. Do you have glamour
I
shots?
was doing some models. I do have some glamour shots. I was part of we actually in our high school, which no longer exists, unfortunately, Clifford J. Scott in East Orange, New Jersey, we had a fashion club. So I was part of the fashion club, and, you know, I was voted Miss Versatile because I did basketball and bowling.
Well,
and
wait,
different
stop.
things.
Wait.
So,
Wait. So you were an athlete as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
A
we just
little
gonna skip past that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basketball.
Yeah, basketball. I wasn't very good at it, I wouldn't say. But if I would have ran track, I think I would have been better at it. But I thought it was too hot to be running outside.
Okay, I got you. There's okay. So basketball. What else were you involved in
The
high school?
bowling team, the fashion club. I was on the newspaper. And that was pretty. And then I would have a job on the side too.
And that was a summer job, or did you work during the school year
During
too?
the school year too,
Okay.
when I could.
And so describe her personality.
Comedian, thought I could sing. Everybody, you know, I just came in contact with my high school yearbook. It was lost. My parents found it for me. It was at their house. And I was reading what some people were saying, and they was like talking about my singing. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I used to sing back then too. Always singing, and you know, had a good sense of humor, kind of thing. So I get that from my dad, just always joking around.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so, had you decided when you decided to go to A&T that you wanted to study medicine, or was it something, or you weren't quite sure at that point?
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to go into medicine because I even knew right off that I was majoring in biology, and I didn't change my major or anything. So I knew that I was going in that path.
And did you always have a love of science, or did that kind of evolve over time?
I would say, as far as I can remember, I always kind of had a love for it.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. And so I wasn't sure timing wise. Was this before? Is this high school as well, or is it? Because it looked like college, but I wasn't sure.
It's college.
Good. I got it. So now you're in college at A&T. Now, what year is this? Do you remember?
Actually, this is when I graduated from college.
Okay.
Because that is a picture of me, my sister, a gift to me. I think my brother and my sister both, was a trip to the Bahamas
Oh, okay.
for
All right.
graduation. And I think that was on my trip. And I was posing. My sister and I, we went to the Bahamas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so was that your first trip out of the country?
Yes.
Now that was that's before you had to have a passport. I think. Did you have to have a passport back then?
You know what? That is
Yeah.
so true because I didn't have a passport.
My first trip was like that too. No
Yeah.
passport, just roll out with a birth certificate and something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
birth
good.
certificate. I never
You
thought
were
about
good.
that until you just mentioned that.
Yeah, that was the times have changed. All right, and so you've graduated, and remind us again where you went to, where you decided to go to medical school.
So I went to dental school.
Dental school first. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
University of Medicine and Dentistry of
Okay.
New Jersey. It's in North New Jersey. I think they changed the name to Rutgers Dental. I think they've changed the name, or they had the intentions of changing the name. So
And so then after your first year,
yes,
did you stay in the New Jersey area? Did you move somewhere else to go to school?
I moved somewhere else. I kind of took some time to just kind of reflect to decide on what I was going to do. I was thinking about moving to Boston, so I spent some time in Boston, and I was like, nah. Then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and move to Marietta and go to chiropractic school.
Okay. And so how did your family respond? Because I imagine if they had big ambitions for you to be a dentist, how did they react when you decided that you wanted to go and become a chiropractor instead?
My family's always been supportive, you know, always supportive. They helped me pack up.
Okay.
We loaded up this van. Actually, a friend of the family had, he's deceased now, but he loaned us this like 15-passenger van, you know, and we loaded up all of my stuff. I mean, my parents, we drove to Marietta and I moved in.
And so day one, you're there, day one, you picked your classes, completely new journey for you. What was it like the first few days?
I was very ambitious because of the fact that when I was in dental school, I knew that wasn't, you know, for me because I had some issues while I was there. So I was laser focused when I got there.
Okay.
It was like, you know how you go through things and that just makes you stronger and
Right.
just make you more motivated. So I was very motivated when I got there.
Well, let me pause. I'm happy to pause there for a second. Was there a defining moment in particular where there was some hardship where you decided, that's it, I don't want to do this anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
So, yeah. So, you know, I'm transparent. So when I moved back to New Jersey from A&T, I don't think my mindset was really ready to go back to school. Because when I was at A&T, it was a lot of things, you know, I worked 2-3 jobs. It was just, it wasn't easy for me whatsoever. Had roommate issues. They moved out on me. I had to find a place to live my last year. And it was just a whole lot of drama. And so when I moved back to New Jersey, I kind of was in the mindset, I want to chill.
Right.
I kind of want to hang out with my friends.
Right.
I kind of want to, you can't do that when you're in dental school.
You can't.
Whatsoever.
There'll be none of that fun.
And one of my best friends, I don't know if she's watching because I don't think I sent her a link, who is the interim dean of UMD, University of Alabama now. She used to say to me, Renee, she was like, you know, you need to be studying. I was like, no, I'm going to go to this part. And so basically I pretty much flunked out of dental school because I wasn't focused.
Wow.
And then, but that had me to pull back and just reevaluate because if it was something that I really, really wanted,
Right.
I don't think that would have happened either.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why I decided to go a different path. And I was like so focused when I went to chiropractic school. So we're talking honor rolls and different things after that because I had never in my life, because I was always the smart one, felt anything. So for me, it was just like devastating, and it was just like I couldn't believe it, and you know, so but it needed to happen to get me going in the right direction and get me focused.
So were you still getting from friends or family, hey, you're not a real doctor, or what are you doing? Were you still getting that reaction from the average person that you were still getting from that counselor, or was there more acceptance? Or did you have to help educate people very early on?
I'm still educating people.
Okay. Okay.
23 years later, you still got to educate people, unfortunately, because we don't know, especially in the Black community.
Right.
You know, many times when they market to us is more, have you been in a wreck? Well, come to, you know.
Right.
So, and that's what we think, you know. And depending upon the type of chiropractor you are, I mean, you can be straight up personal injury, and that's all you see. And you see a bunch of patients, and you can just, like you said, it's like a mill. I mean, you can do that. Or for me, it's about getting to the root cause and really, really helping people, particularly people in my community. That's my passion.
And when was that a passion for you? Because I know it's different for chiropractors all over. And like you said, some just do personal injury. But when did you decide that it was a passion for you specifically to help people in the Black community? And
let me just say this. I mean, if you so choose to do personal, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I'd still take personal injury as well, because you can convert those people as well. But there are some that, you know, really their mode is as many people that they can get in, not necessarily, okay, what else is going on with you? What was your question? I'm sorry.
No, so what Hey, real talk. But at what point did you decide that, the passion was making sure that you were helping people of color, helping Black folks to understand not just chiropractic care, but the benefits of it, short term and long term? That wasn't the question, but that's the rephrase.
Right. And I can say, when I started out, I just wanted to help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But as the years progressed and I saw so many patients coming in,
Mm-hmm.
having issues, and even I would say from 20 years ago to now,
Mm-hmm.
There's a significant change or decline in health.
Mm-hmm.
And so my passion, particularly, I would say probably the last maybe 6 years, I've really been on it,
Right.
with the nutrition and everything, and just because of some things that I've encountered myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if I'm encountering this, but I know better,
Mm-hmm.
what about all of these other people out here that don't know better,
Right.
About different things? And I'm just like, so, that's when I decided, okay, maybe I can do like little tidbits, like the health nuggets.
Right.
We're so inundated. It's just so much information out. The health nugget was just a little
Right.
drop,
Right.
just to make you think,
Right.
and then
Right.
you can kind of go from there and go on. So I would say maybe in the past 6 years or so,
Okay.
my focus has really been to help us.
Right.
Yeah.
So this picture, okay, go ahead with your bad self. I wasn't sure where to put it in the timeline. So I'm assuming, are you practicing at this point?
Oh yeah, that was like maybe about 2 years ago.
You know the black don't crack, girl. The black does not crack. We're going to talk about melanin, by the way. We're going to come to that. So you're practicing at this point. Now you're married, right?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been married? She's off the market, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah.
How
10
long?
years. 10
Okay.
years.
Do you have kids?
No
Okay.
kids.
And so then
Other people's kids.
Right. Know that. And then this picture, I think this is fairly recent, right? And
Yes.
all of your fabulousness.
Yes.
And so tell us, I want to step back for a second because you were talking about chiropractic school.
Yes.
Obviously, it sounds like you were a very high achiever in school. What was probably the most surprising thing that you learned about chiropractic care overall?
That it really can help people.
Okay.
Sometimes I even 23 years later, like I work on people and they get better or they feel better. I'm just like, wow. In my mind, I'm just like, and they were like, oh, doc, I feel so much better. Or like a person, can barely get on a table.
Right.
And you work on them and they get up and they're walking.
Right.
It's incredible. I mean, it still surprises me, and I've seen it over and over, but it's still just like, it's a blessing to me.
It is.
So
It is.
I would say in clinic, when you're in seventh quarter, there's 14 quarters. When you're in seventh quarter, that's when you start hands-on. You work on the students first.
Right.
You work on your friends, so you can mess them up first. The first couple of
I got you.
you can make all the mistakes on your friends. But when I moved that first bone, which was really before seventh quarter, because when you get home and stuff, we practice on one another and
Right.
do stuff. I would say when I moved my first bone, I was just like, wow.
Did it
this
freak
is
you out a
awesome.
little bit?
No, it was just like, wow, that's
So it's not
awesome.
like popping knuckles. That's not the same thing.
Nah, it's moving
But like
joints.
actually moving the joints itself.
Right.
During that, now how long is an average chiropractic school program from start to finish?
It can be 4 years, if you don't take breaks. I think I got out in 3.5 because it's on a quarter system. So you basically can go all year round or take a quarter off. So yeah, it could be anywhere from 3.5 to 4 years.
Okay. And so this picture, is there anything in particular special about this picture other than the glow?
Do you really want to know?
Yes, ma'am.
I was at the Pink Ice. I have two really great friends. Shout out to Tracy and Greta in Columbia, South Carolina. Those are my girls. Greta we went to high school together. And so every year I go to the Pink Ice in Columbia, South Carolina. And so this is our, we get dressed up and hang out for the weekend and stuff like that. So that was at the Pink Ice. And I always enjoy, just spending time with them.
So what do you like to do outside of your practice? You got free time. What do you do?
travel when I can. I
Okay.
like to entertain. I love family. Thanksgiving, we probably, between my family and my husband's family and other extended family, we probably had almost like 100 people for Thanksgiving
Wow.
at the event center. And I'm the coordinating games. Let's play Family Feud. Let's do this. So that's my thing. I really love being around family and doing things because you realize as you get older, people may not be here.
Right.
Old or young.
Right.
These days. So it's
Very true.
doesn't mean the age. So I like, and I'm very blessed to have a family, close-knit family. So, yeah, doing things with them.
Are you the cool auntie? You look like you're the cool auntie.
I am.
Yeah.
I really am.
You look like the cool auntie.
Hang out and play with and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's the cool auntie. So aside from the travel and family, what else?
I would say probably, doing certain things like maybe doing some yoga classes or, discovering new things, new activities
Right.
to do.
Okay.
Something different.
And
Movies.
so
Movie buff.
what do you
movie
like?
Buff.
What do you like?
Movie buff.
What's your favorite type of movie? If you say
Different
horror, we can't be friends.
No. Horror. I like stuff like Love and Basketball. Another one of my favorites is like I Am Legend. It's kind of like maybe like a little bit of sci-fi kind of, but a good like heart pull on your heart kind of
Right.
movie too. So yeah.
What's one movie that you've seen that made you cry?
Oh, what did I just watch that I almost had a tear drip?
You're
from
not
the corner
with
of
a
my
single glory tear, like just that one tear.
But what was a phenomenal? That's my new She-Ra.
Who?
Is Harriet Tubman.
I haven't seen. I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't take my black car. I'm going. I got to find
Yeah,
time. But
man. I mean, just the looking at that and what she did, we have like no excuse.
Right. At all.
Back then, I was just like, wow. I mean, you hear the story, through school and stuff, but to see the movie and what she did, she went back and got her family. Oh my God, and
Incredible
she did.
story.
Yeah, so that was a really heartfelt kind of movie that I loved.
What about a favorite childhood movie?
Favorite childhood movie, Jaws.
That is not a childhood movie, Dr. Renee. Listen. No, ma'am. That is not. I meant like Disney. Like, not the shark coming to kill everybody. I mean, like a childhood movie.
Back then, Jaws was the movie.
No, ma'am, it was not.
Make you not want to go to the shore.
Okay, right. But I'm thinking Disney.
Disney.
I don't know.
They didn't have Disney movies coming out like that when back in the day.
I mean, yeah, you had Cinderella, something like that.
Cinderella.
No. Okay, nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
I can tell you a childhood. Well, it wasn't my childhood.
I don't know if I want to know the answer. You said Jaws out the gate. Like, I'm concerned. Okay. All right. So this picture I chose because I pulled it off of one of your health nugget videos. Actually, I know. I like it. This is one of my faves because what I love about, and we'll get to the nuggets in a little bit, is that what I love about the videos is that, like you said, they're very simple. It's just a nugget, and it makes you want to learn more. And it's designed to inform. Here's some little things that you can do in a did you know kind of setting. And I really want to spend a little bit more time with that. But I think now in your practice now, where do you see your practice, or how do you see your practice developing in the next 5 to 10 years?
Having some associate doctors in there,
Okay.
maybe hopefully training others, and then having more than one location, and then having like different, maybe wellness entities in there.
Now do you still have your Greensboro location?
No.
Okay. So just here in Charlotte.
Just here in Charlotte.
Okay. And so now tell everybody where you're located, and I'll remind them again at the end of the show, but where are you located?
5200 Park Road,
Okay.
Suite 126.
And geographically, what side of Charlotte is that in?
It's on the south side of Charlotte, so Park Road near Tybola Road.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's get to the heart of it. And I had a lot of questions. I hope some others chime in as well. But what do you think are the biggest issues that are plaguing the Black community right now?
Okay. You know, I'm about getting to the root cause.
Right.
So we know hypertension, diabetes, obesity, all of that. But it's like, why? Well,
Right.
Why? One of the reasons why we know is definitely nutrition, right? But a huge component of that is stress. Stress.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Because one, for Black people, we live in a stressful environment constantly.
Right.
You know, stress is normal, but not prolonged stress. You know, so stress could be chemical, it could be physical, it could be emotional. Explain
the difference.
Okay, so physical, you know, physical could be, you know, pushing yourself, not getting enough rest, going all the time.
Guilty.
You know, or either, you know, if you're like an elite athlete and never recover, just constantly pushing yourself. So any kind of physical things that can affect you physically.
Right.
Chemical stresses are, you know, the things that we eat, the toxins that we're exposed to. And then, of course, emotional is, you know, who we have in office, you know, and all of this other stuff that we have
That's
going on.
That's a whole nother show, child.
We have going. And worrying about your kids when you know, when they go out, you know, driving or walking or what have you, or, you know, financial stresses. The list goes on and on for us.
And I think that's fascinating. And I really need you to really focus in on that for a second, because as Black people, our stress and the type of stress that we encounter is so much different, you know, from any other race, frankly. And I think, you know, people, you know, give lip service, if you will, to systemic racism and what that means and, you know, how that has affected us. But, you know, what does that mean in terms of what we see every day, like how the media portrays us, what we see on the news and how news portrays us, and obviously social media and what's being filtered into our psyche on a daily basis, just by scrolling, you know, and how that stress can evolve to become and be a precursor to different illnesses. Like, what does that mean for us as Black people just in general?
Well, physiologically, when I talk about stress and prolonged stress, because stress is normal. Like, say you're in traffic or something, you almost get in a car accident, right? What happens? You know, basically you're going to, you know, your heart is going to begin to beat fast. You know, you might get sweaty palms. And then, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, you know, you kind of calm down, you kind of relax. But if you're constantly, you know, if your adrenal glands, which are your stress organs, are constantly, you know, being overworked time and time after, you don't give your body enough opportunity to recover, then it begins to affect different hormones. Right. Like cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. Cortisol is released when you're in a stressful situation. Right. And then, you know, once the stress goes away, cortisol levels go back. But if it's ongoing, you're constantly secreting cortisol. And then what happens? You know, just like if you hold your hands up in the air like this, you know, it gets tired, right? They get tired. So it's the same thing. But the thing of it is that cortisol, its job is to, one, it breaks down glucose, puts it into the bloodstream so that you can have the energy in your muscles and so on and so forth. So if you constantly have glucose in your bloodstream, you can become insulin resistant. One of the things that it does is it also increases your blood pressure, okay, hypertension, insulin resistance, which is diabetes type 2. It goes to the diabetes type 2. It also decreases, its job is to decrease white blood cells, so that weakens your immune system, right? It's so many different things that it does that can affect you overall, even from, you know, prolonged stress affecting how you sleep, you know, because it's sympathetic. It gets you going. It's supposed to, you know, keep you going. But you're not supposed to be like that all the time. So if you don't sleep properly, then that can affect you over time as well. If it's constantly breaking down, you have insulin in your bloodstream, then it's going to be difficult for you to lose weight. So this cortisol being in your system constantly can cause all different types of diseases and illnesses. Since it's sympathetic, what I mean is it's supposed to speed up things, then it's going to slow down things like digestion.
Right.
So, acid reflux, all kind of digestive issues can come along with that as well. Then decreasing reproduction, because that's not what you need at that time as well. So infertility. So the list goes on and on with it. And a lot of times we just keep moving.
Right. And I think, and I think this is particularly true with Black women, not for any other reason, because we have so much that we have to carry beyond just being a woman,
right?
Especially in oftentimes a misogynistic world. Don't really want to get into all that tonight, but that stress can amplify, I think, with us. And I think because we try so hard to make sure everybody's okay. We are the worst in taking care of ourselves, or we feel guilty about self-care. And that's something that as Black women especially, we have to do a better job of being able to, one, say no, and know that it's okay to say no, but also find time for ourselves, even if it's in quiet moments. Because, our health is not looked at the same way. People don't advocate for us the same way, in the healthcare, or at least in the Western medicine. So, but anyway, so I picked this because what chiropractic does is that it encompasses so much as more than just the spine or, getting your back cracked or whatever foolishness, however a person describes it. So so just on a very basic level, what does chiropractic mean just to the average lay person if they've never heard that term, if they've never been to a chiropractor before?
So it's basically the art and science which allows the vertebral column or the spine to be in proper alignment.
Okay. And why is that important?
That is important because your skeletal system is your framework. Okay. Your spine protects your spinal cord, which is the most important system of the body because it protects the nervous system.
Okay.
The nervous system sends messages to every organ, every system, every organ tissue throughout the entire body. And so when things are misaligned, when the vertebrae become misaligned through things like poor posture, stress, trauma, and it could be athletic injury, slip and fall, it could be motor vehicle accident. When those bones become misaligned, it can impinge the nerve. So wherever that nerve
What does that mean when you say impinge?
It can cause pressure on the nerve,
Got it.
or it can irritate the nerve. So wherever that nerve is sending the message to, whatever body part, whatever system, whatever organ it's sending it to, it can affect that area over time.
Gotcha.
Okay. So to have proper alignment is important because what it's going to do is going to allow all of the systems of the body to function properly without any type of interference.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that's the very basic idea of what it means.
Right.
Okay. And so when you talk about the profession in general, how long has it been around? Chiropractic care.
It's been around for over 100 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the development of it as opposed to traditional Western medicine, how is it different? And then how does it work synergistic, or how does it work in tandem with, if that's even possible?
Well, it was discovered. They said Harvey Lillard was a janitor, and Dr. Harmon, BJ. He was Dr. BJ Harmon. He actually hit Harvey Lillard, was a black janitor, on the back or whatever, and he restored his hearing. And so that's how it was founded. I said BJ Harmon, I meant BJ Palmer, Dr. BJ Palmer. And so through that's when they developed chiropractic, because they realized by moving, I guess with him hitting him, that shifted the bone and he was restored his hearing. So they developed the practice. But many times, like the American Medical Association and places like that, they don't believe necessary in chiropractic because, we don't prescribe medications. It's not the allopathic way.
What is allopathic? Now, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm
now,
sorry.
What does
I'm
allopathic
sorry.
mean?
So it's not the natural, going to the traditional medicine, I should say, traditional Western medicine.
And the difference is, and I hope, at least my perception is that Western medicine tends to treat, it just tends to treat the symptoms, but not getting to the heart of the problem. Is that fair to say?
I would say that was fair to say.
Okay.
Yes.
And so as far as chiropractic care in general, you've already told us what it is, but why? You said the spine is the nucleus, if you will, or at least the spinal column, the nervous system. But break it down just quickly even further. So if is it because you taught me this? So my cervical spine, my lumbar spine, and what's the lower part?
So cervical, thoracic,
and
then lumbar.
I knew it was something in the middle. Okay. And so like, let's say, for example, your neck. If your neck, and I guess that's C1, 2, 3.
C1 through C7.
Okay, so when you say the numbers, those are the different vertebrae in your spinal column.
Right, they're numbered 1 through 7.
Okay.
You have 7.
So let's say hypothetically you have issues in, say, the middle part of that part of your spine, like 3 through 5. What type of things could a person be dealing with symptomatically? Like what would they be having trouble with?
I would say more importantly, C1 and C2. That's where you have the rotation. A lot of times people will have headaches, sinus problems, it could be sinus infections, upper body, it's usually upper cervical things will have things that take place in the upper part of your body.
Okay.
So, like a lot of times, like I said, sinuses, headaches, maybe issues with eyesight and things of that nature. So.
Okay. And so as opposed to the lower part of the spine, is that because when you look at a picture of the spine, like the lower part just seems like the vertebrae, are they bigger?
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
And the vertebrae are bigger. Does it affect like more organs or more systems, or is it just bigger just to support the weight of the human body?
It's bigger to support the weight of the human body because we do a lot of sitting and standing. So basically the upper area is going to supply pretty much the upper part. In the middle, it'll supply things like say upper thoracic area, upper back. That's going to supply things like your lungs and your heart. And when you get towards the middle, that's going to be things like your adrenal glands and your liver. And then when you get to the lower, it's going to be your abdomen. It'll supply, the uterus and the bladder. So it kind of corresponds to, where things are in the body.
Okay. And so when you also do something that is very unique, which I had never experienced before, which is muscle testing.
Yes.
And so I think the first time, okay, true story. So I first come to her and she does some adjustments and I'm like, oh God, I think I'm going to die. Like what, why is it making all this noise? Like, I don't understand. But like I said, I'd had such horrible experiences before where I would, come in and it's like, why are there 50 people in here and they're going from room to room and this is weird. And they take this x-ray and I have to say this for a second because this might be maybe other people who experience this where you go to a chiropractor and they do an x-ray and it's like almost like they're trying to scare you into sessions. And I remember this one particular place, apparently they're still around. They're a chain. And what they did, and I noticed that everybody in there was black. And I remember I came across them because they were at a festival. I want to say it was Juneteenth, maybe 3 years ago. And I just kind of stopped. And, the person I was with, we stopped and they did the whole spinal scan. And, oh, my God, it's black here. It's black here. You're going to die. And you need to come see us tomorrow because your spine is telling us like death is upon you. Pretty much. So I go in and, they did x-rays, but they kept, at the time, the person I was dating, they insisted on him coming with me. I'm like, what does he have? He's not my husband. We're not engaged. But I felt like it was a scam because when I came in, he wasn't with me, but they showed my spine and it was basically your spine is, you have adult scoliosis, it's curvature of the spine. And it's so bad if we don't have these 18,000 treatments. I exaggerate, but it was like 500 treatments, something ridiculous that they were going to bill through my insurance. Like, if you don't have these treatments to get your spine in alignment in X amount of months or a year, then, you're going to be looking at permanent damage. Okay. But then you go in, and like I said, it was like a cattle call. It just never felt right. And then fast forward to the next one I had a running injury, and it was in my hip. It was bad. It was really bad. Like, went to the hospital. It was when I was campaigning. And, I'm still trying to push through, even though I'm in all this pain and trying to try cases and all this foolishness. But that person was a holistic chiropractor, didn't look like me. But every time I went in, it was like ice packs and heat packs. I'm like, but that's not really helping because of where the pain was in my hip. Turns out it was bursitis. And I was getting frustrated because he never x-rayed or anything to see and to eliminate that, because I had a CT scan and all. It was just the craziest injury and that I had ever had. But if I had just rested, then I would have been okay. But all of this manipulation, like, I would feel worse when I would leave. I never felt better. Like, I always felt worse, but I thought that's what was I didn't know any better. I thought, okay, you come in, you put the ice on it, he does some stuff. Oh shit, this really hurts. But okay, I guess this is part of the healing process. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said at the top of the show when I met you, it was like, oh God, I don't want to go through this again. And it was like night and day, because what I appreciate about you is that you took the time to educate. Like, you have, obviously, it's a very visual office. And I could talk to you, like, because I thought I knew stuff, because I told you my mom was a biology teacher. I said, "Ooh, yeah, this is such and such." You were like, "Okay," so we're having a conversation. It felt like I was talking to a friend. But I know that I can, when you first did the muscle testing, that blew me away, because at that point I'm still on the bench. I am probably 30 pounds heavier. I was 30 pounds heavier. Lot of stress. And I didn't realize how much it was taking a toll on me until, like, I could, like, the gray hair, like, my hair was thinning. Like, I just didn't know. And then when the first time you did the muscle testing on me, you were like, yeah, this is what's going on. And I was like, what kind of hocus pocus is this? Like, you didn't do any blood tests. Like, how do you know this? So for people watching, like, what is muscle testing? How does it work to help the body tell you what's going on with it?
Okay, so there's two types of muscle testing that I do. The chiropractic type of muscle testing, which I muscle test the actual joints, because you have these receptors in the joints, and when they become misaligned, it weakens the muscle that's attached to it. Okay. So I muscle test to see what's out of alignment. Mm-hmm. Then there's another muscle testing that I do that you've experienced both, of course, which I do a body scan. You have surface reflex points. They're actually acupuncture reflex points on the surface of your body. Okay. And they indicate different organs and different systems. Since we're energetic beings, if there's a deficiency of that particular organ.
When you say energetic, you don't mean like energetic in a...
I mean,
what does that
like
mean?
We're made up of energy.
Got it.
We're made up of energy, all of us. Everything has energy to it. So what I'm saying in essence is, if there is a deficiency, say like in your liver or heart, when I muscle test that particular reflex that is related to that organ, and when I muscle test you with your arm and it goes weak, that's an indication that there's a deficiency there. Okay. Right? And so my job is to find out, not just say, okay, take this, take that. Is, since we're dealing with energy, anything that is good for your body will stay strong. Anything that's not good for your body will weaken it. And it's the same thing with thoughts, So, like, if we find a deficiency, like in the liver, so now I know, I just use my expertise as a doctor, like, okay, so what's good for the liver? Okay. So I'm going to use different products, such as, something to see whether or not we need to detox it, or do we need to, strengthen the liver. So I'm going to try these different products. And your body is going to tell me which one is best for you.
And so, like, visually, what does that look like? Because I know we're sitting across from the table, so it's hard to show what that looks like. Unless we have a volunteer. A volunteer?
Do we have a volunteer? No.
Come on, Steve. Don't worry about it. Come on.
A volunteer?
Come on,
we're going to do a demonstration.
You're going to come on this side of Dr. Renee. Okay, I think we can still see you. So
Okay, so
you're going to be our guinea pig.
so
Does he need to stand?
No, you can have a seat.
Okay. Oh,
All right. So
we're going to put you on the spot.
I know. So basically, right. So basically, let me do this around you. I'm sorry. So do you have any shoulder problems? So if you don't,
none as of right now.
So it's just simple. So hold here, right?
Huh?
And so what I want you to do is resist me. So if you resist me,
Can't
you're
see.
strong.
Like, just so
Put this
that.
on.
It won't work that way. We got to figure out a way.
So, how about so yeah. I
Yeah,
probably
that'll
need to do you.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do.
Come
you.
on.
Let me come around. I'm gonna come.
All
around.
right, we already know it's raggedy on me, but okay, everybody else can
But then,
see as well.
Do you think people think that? Oh, you know what? Let's do it this way. Yeah, just sit right here.
Well,
Because we'll get somebody new. Because I don't want them
Yeah.
to think it's biased.
Right, I already know it's raggedy. I know it's my arm's gonna fall.
Okay. So we use your arm here, right? You can sit up straight. We'll just move your chair over. So with muscle
We
testing,
can hear you.
hold here, right? And so you have gum in your mouth.
Gotta spit that out.
Yeah.
I got it.
You swallow-
Don't do that.
No, don't swallow that.
why?
Don't swallow that. Not meant to swallow.
like your mama. Throw that out.
Y'all see this, right?
I hope that wasn't important.
The gum?
No, the
it was on
paper.
No, no.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do
What
is
does the gum have
resist.
to do with this?
She gonna explain
okay.
it. Steve, cooperate.
First thing I do is check to see if the person is testable. So I touch here, and he
Have him
resist.
turn a little bit
Turn a
slightly,
little bit
because
this
you
way.
got to be able to see his arm. Perfect. That's it.
So resist me, resist me, resist me, resist. Are you resisting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's testable. That's the only point on the body that should be weak.
And that's like third eye.
So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much that short circuits the body. It's
Get
it's
out
the
of here.
master.
Okay, go ahead. Go,
Move.
go
So,
ahead.
here. So the first thing I would do is, now you can turn that way so that it can towards the camera. Turn towards the camera. So if I was to test, hold here, liver, hold, resist, resist. See how he's going weak? This
Yep.
is the heart point. He's strong. Homocysteine strong. Stomach strong.
So what does that mean?
So if there's a weakness here,
Right.
that's the indicator. So this is something that is subclinical, and what I mean by that is showing things before, like maybe even a lab test would show.
Right.
Okay, so what that's letting me know is that your liver needs to be supported because it's going weak. I've touched that area and it's weak. So somehow either we need to we either need a detox or we need to support it in some. And I've been testing people a lot. Like there's a bacteria point because there's all kind of colds and flus going
Right.
out. And then I test you here, and you go weak there. That's a bacteria point. So you've probably been exposed to something that your body could be fighting. So what I would do is give you something to support that.
Okay.
And then with the liver being weak, in my office I have just a plethora of different types of supplements. And I would just muscle test you until your body gets strong. And then we would customize to see how many do you need to take
Right.
for how long. So it's me using my knowledge of products, but it's your body telling me exactly what you need,
Right.
how much you need, and for how long.
And is that
Makes
because
sense.
because
Yeah.
that's an energy spot?
Right. And so this is a reflex point, right? So the reflex point, and so your body can talk to you, basically. So the body is telling me what it needs. I'm asking the questions,
Right.
and it's telling me. It's like, is this a supplement? Nope. Do you need this supplement? Nope. Is this one? Oh, strong. Okay, so this will work with you. How many do you need? One. Strong. So
Right.
take one. You know. So and it's just so non-Western medicine
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
that it just most people think like ooh, but I get such good results from it.
You do, because I can speak from personal experience that when I came to see
We
you.
finished
Right.
with this.
And then
Are we done? Are we not done yet? Okay,
no,
wait.
hold on. I'm going to test one other point because since we were talking about stress, hold
Right.
on. I'm going to check your adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are weak,
Okay.
right? So I would support your adrenal glands. I would see Do you need something really strong, like desiccated adrenal glands? Or do you need an adaptogen herb just to kind of help you adapt with stress and support the adrenal glands? But, that's how I, try to make a determination through muscle testing as to
So
what
this
your
is
body
way
needs.
beyond a multivitamin.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And just giving you a multivitamin or just reading up on stuff. I'm muscles, and my family will tell you. It's so funny. My sister, she's watching, hey, Mo. All the time she'll say, yeah, I was listening to such and such show when they were talking about this detox. And so I bought it, and I was like, let me muscle test you. Week, I was like, okay, so why are you buying stuff and you need to be muscle tested? Muscle testing to see whether or not you need it or not. If your body goes weak, it's up to you. If you want to take something that makes your body go weak, then you can do it, but it's not effective for you.
Right.
You got to find something that is going to support, to give you energy, to help overall.
You're a good patient.
I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, carry on, sir.
Thank you.
I know, right?
And I think, because I don't mind sharing it with my personal experience, because when I first came to see you and you first did it, just overall, I knew I needed support to be able to address just deficiencies in general, because you're on the bench all day, you barely have time to eat. But what's been so fascinating with my journey that you've helped me with is that my adrenals were trash. They were trash, people, like trash. And it's like she's explained, like if your adrenal glands are challenged or if they're weak, then you're not adapting to stress in a good way. Cortisol levels that makes it difficult for you to lose weight. I saw my weight shoot up. Like from the time I got on the bench in 14 to the time I left in 16, like legit, when I left in 16, I could wear one suit in my entire closet I could wear.
Wow.
Everything else I could not wear. And I didn't know, like, you don't realize you're like, it's creeping up because I'm on the bench, I'm on the road, like I'm not wearing really suits, I'm wearing like comfortable dresses, and I see the Spanx are giving me some problems, and I know I need to go up a size, and it's like, it's fine, and it lose some, get some back, lose some, get some back. But when my adrenals were really trashy, then like you had me on a couple of supplements, and it's changed over time. And so like what I was on originally, I could tell the difference. Like if I wasn't taking it, like I could just physically feel the difference. And that, along with the chiropractic care, just for me, after I had gotten better after the accident, obviously I continued to see you because I could just tell the difference. Versus now, I take an adaptogen that helps me adapt more versus having what you gave me originally, which was to try to strengthen them bad boys because they were trash.
Right.
Y'all, my adrenals were trash. And it was scary because, like, I knew my sugar levels were getting high, like just from like your A1C levels, or we getting concerned because my dad was a diabetic. He didn't develop until after I was born. But, you worry about that. And then my mom passed of an aneurysm. So I'm particularly cognizant of like stress issues and all of those things, because nobody saw that coming, right. So here we are. So I know for me, my personal experience, I have to tell this story because this is how awesome you are. We get to misalignment and we'll wrap it up. But I remember we had a mock trial, and I don't know if Travis is watching. We had a mock trial competition. I think it was 2 years ago. And I don't know what happened, but I was literally at the courthouse in excruciating pain. Mm-hmm. And I could just be walking, and then like I would move the wrong way, and like my whole body would get weak. I mean, it was like, but I couldn't do anything. I had to walk. Like I had to, I had, people coming in. I don't think anybody could tell because I just had to push through it. But it was so bad. I remember It was before, it was like during a cross-examination, and I went in the back, and my friend Travis came back there, and another one of my friends at the time was there, and it would hurt so bad. Like I had bent over, and they were like massaging my back, and it was just excruciating. But I would stand up and I'd be okay, but I'd move slightly, and it was just like, oh my God, I can't. Mm-hmm. And so I remember calling you that day. I was like, please, please help me, because I don't know what this is. I didn't know if I had pulled something, but I remember that day, like, I remember catching an Uber from the courthouse. Like, I didn't even try to get my car. I was like, just get me out of here. You know, I pushed through, I grinned and bared it. Like, but I remember when I got to your office, like, I was almost in tears. You didn't see that, but I was in tears in the car, because it was just like, I don't know what this is. But I can tell you guys that I was really sore, but I got up off that table. And I could walk with no problem, other than some lingering soreness from where I was like constantly manipulating that area. But I would have gone to the hospital. They would have done an MRI. They would have given me painkillers. They would have done all that. And what I needed, I was just out of alignment. My spine was not just straight, but it was twisted. Mm-hmm. And I remember a similar situation when I was trying a case, and this was before I met you. I had gone to the hospital from that running injury I told you about, and was in pain all weekend. Like, it would be waves of pain. I didn't understand that that's what an impingement, just waves. Mm-hmm. And I was in trial that Monday, and the judge was such a jerk to me. I mean, such a jerk. I had gotten to the point, I had even told him, like, I have to stand. Like, if I sit and stand up, I'm going to freak out in front of this jury, because I'm in a lot of pain. And I remember he said something to me. I'll never forget to this day. He was such a jerk. Mm-hmm. And I jumped up, because it was like, you're questioning my professionalism. As soon as I jumped up, I felt this click in my back, and I was good. It was crazy. Like, I didn't know at the time, but when I jumped up, like, I gave him the biz. Like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? You went there. So, like, he was coming at me. I was coming back in, respectfully.
Right.
But I remember when I jumped up, I felt that click, and it was just like
self-adjustment.
Yeah, who knew? And it, like, of course, I didn't understand that's what happened. I just knew that I could walk, and I wasn't hurting, and that those waves of pain, had gone. So that's the importance of obviously making sure that, we have proper alignment.
I would like to say something to the audience.
Sure.
And just as Black people, one of the things that we need to do that is one of the most important things to do, mm-hmm. if you have a disease or illness, find out what the underlying cause of it is. Yes, ma'am. I don't care what it is. If it's an autoimmune disease, why do you have it? Especially if you didn't have it, when you were younger, and then all mm-hmm. of a sudden as an adult, what gene was switched on by environmental factors? Mm-hmm. Even cancer. Mm-hmm. Why do you have cancer? Mm-hmm. What is it? There's always an underlying or a root cause, and you just have to figure out why. Because if you can figure out the root cause versus just treating it, mm-hmm. then you can prevent it from coming back. You can eradicate it, basically, mm-hmm. And I find that a lot. Some people say, I've changed my diet, I've exercised, I've done X, Y, Z, and I still have hypertension. Mm-hmm. So there's something else that's causing the root cause of it. Could it be mm-hmm. your adrenal glands? Mm-hmm. Because when you think about it, adrenal glands not only secretes cortisol, but aldosterone, which mm-hmm. causes fluid retention and sodium retention. Mm-hmm. So I'm just using that as an example, but we need to figure out the reason why. Right. There's always a reason why. And we have a tendency to just accept whatever mm-hmm. and, take medications and not really get to the root cause of things. And that's to the detriment of us as mm-hmm. Black people.
Okay.
So
perfectly said.
Okay.
So what do you need to know when a person is choosing a chiropractor? What advice would you give? Especially if they don't live in Charlotte and they can't come see you. But seriously, what does a person need to know if they're considering chiropractic care?
I would see what type of chiropractic do they do. There are some people that just do upper cervical. Mm-hmm. Do you adjust the whole spine? Do you and if you need extremities adjusted, like mm-hmm. I do extremities,
you
shoulders,
do down to my toes knees, that one time.
Child,
right. Was awesome.
Wrist, and if you need that, not all chiropractors do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it depends on what it is that you want or what it is that you need.
Right.
see where they attended school, how long they've been practicing, and, and just get a feel. Call, the first thing I do is when I call the office, because I've searched for like my nephew who's a football player in Delaware. I went online and I called the office for him, and I was like, okay. Yeah, I asked him a couple of questions like, okay, what kind of techniques do you use? Do you adjust extremities? What kind of therapies? Do you do nutrition? And then, if you get a good feel, then I would do that.
Okay.
But remember, it's good and bad in every profession.
Right.
And chiropractic is no different. So
Okay.
you have to find what fits you, get a background.
So what do you think the we'll say three. What do you think the three biggest misconceptions about chiropractic care? What do you think they are?
It hurts. It doesn't always hurt, and it doesn't have to hurt. A lot of people still think that chiropractors aren't real doctors. They aren't real doctors. And once you go to chiropractors, you always have to go to chiropractors.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
You'll get adjusted. I always use the analogy of your car. You get your car aligned. Are you just going to get it aligned, the wheels aligned once? No. Because of wear and tear. So it's up to you. I mean, if you're going in and you just want to get, whatever your chief complaint corrected and then not come back only when you're in pain, or do you want to be proactive about your health and stay healthy? It's all a part of prevention and staying healthy. So,
what other myths?
Those are I would say, not real doctors. It hurts. You got to see a chiropractor forever and ever. Those are the three, I would say, main ones.
And so what's the biggest thing that you think people should know about the benefits of chiropractic care?
Oh, the other thing I just thought about is that you really don't need chiropractors. You really don't need to go to a chiropractor. And you do, because of the type of lifestyles that we live.
Right.
So if you want to be healthy, if you want prevention, I have patients that come in, every 6 weeks just for a tune-up, or every other month, but I think it's important because, everything from tech neck, that's one of my health nuggets, from wearing high heel shoes, heavy bags, the way we
Don't look at me like that. I know we go through that every time.
All the time. You need to make sure your framework is healthy.
Right. And so when you talk about holistic health, we talked about this in the beginning as far as the physical, the emotional, and then, of course, the spiritual. I noticed when I came there before, you were also doing things beyond just the alignment and the nutrition, but you wanted to help people who were dealing with anxiety issues and some other emotional issues. Are you still focusing on any of that with your practice right now?
I do color therapy.
What's that?
So basically, if you've heard of chakras, those are energy fields in your body that are affected by different colors.
Right.
So you can clear your chakras out with the color therapy glasses and reading different things and tapping in and clearing it out. And that usually helps relax people too.
Okay. Anything else along those lines as far as the emotional health?
No, I usually refer.
Okay. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the health nuggets. So I picked a few areas that I want. Can't look.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an issue, and I want you to give us a nugget. Like, what's something that you can do? It's a nugget. You do nuggets. So I'm not even going to explain that. You already got it. Hydration.
Drink more water. Half your body weight in ounces. Drink. The first thing you do when you get up in the morning is drink water.
Why?
Before brushing your teeth, and if you squeeze a little lemon in it, that's a health nugget too. What it does is it helps kind of get the bile flowing. And it also kind of flushes things out. And then it gets you hydrated first thing in the morning.
Okay.
You go ahead and get that 16 ounces, and then you're on your road. You drink another glass before you leave, drink, 2 while you're at work. And by the time you get home at night, you pretty much have what you need for the day.
Okay. What about alkaline water? That was a big thing for a while where people were drinking alkaline water, but too much of it. Is that possible to drink too much alkaline water?
Yes,
okay.
It is, because, your pH level should be a certain point, 7.3 to 7.35. And when you do too much of anything,
Right.
it can affect you. So you have to have that acid and alkaline balance. So especially when people drink, 9.0, it's like, do you have an issue? Why are you drinking that? And so I have
Right.
an alkaline machine, but I don't use it all the time, like every single day. It's, I'll lay off of it for a while. If I got some stuff going on, I might, increase the alkaline water. But yeah, you can go overboard, especially if you're pretty much healthy.
You do it in moderation.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So water in the morning, first thing. Even before you brush your teeth, that ain't nasty.
That ain't
Yeah,
nasty.
okay,
Man,
all
that's,
right.
that's your own stuff.
Okay. Throughout the day, what about at night before you go to bed?
Well, it just depends on how your bladder is.
Yeah.
Some people, if it's going to make you keep getting up at night, I would try to get it in earlier.
Right.
So that you don't have to keep getting up at night.
Stress
So,
management, nugget.
stress management, simple things like breathing, taking some time, taking deep breaths in through your nose, out through your nose, doing something that you enjoy, walking or exercise, because, exercise will release those natural endorphins, So I would say just taking some time, maybe meditating, first thing in the morning, taking some deep breaths before you fly off the handle, eating foods like with vitamin C to help support the adrenal glands.
Like what? Citruses?
Citrus,
stuff that we know.
citrus,
Okay.
kiwi, strawberries, things like that.
Okay.
Spinach. And I would say just really just taking time, to meditate, to reflect, to breathe, to be thankful, getting proper rest.
Right.
Trying to go to bed at night.
Put that phone down.
Yeah,
That part.
Yeah.
Sugar cravings. This is one of my favorites.
Sugar cravings. One of the things that I do is I don't have certain things in the house, so I won't eat them.
That's hard, though. That's so
If
hard.
you don't have it in the house,
But I want it.
Okay.
I want it.
So did you hear my health nugget for the holiday?
I didn't. It's probably going to
Okay.
upset me, but go ahead.
It's not. Oh my goodness. It's really not. But what I would recommend is drink your calories. Don't eat your calories. So if you're going to do that candy bar, don't follow it with juice or soda or sweet tea. Drink it with water. And that'll kind of curve it a little bit. So either eat or drink your calories. So piece of cake,
Okay.
water.
Okay. No rum cream. None of that. Okay. All right.
So,
What
yeah.
about those nighttime cravings, though? Because that's a problem for a lot of people, me included. Like you just crave sometimes, not all the time, but you start to crave sugar at night.
What I would do is with your dinner, I would make sure that you have like some healthy fat
Okay.
versus, that will fill you, will satisfy you. So if you eat dinner, maybe have an avocado or something like that, not just straight carbohydrates and
Right.
proteins, have some fat. And that'll kind of curve that, wanting to have something more, something sweet.
Okay, good. Weight loss. I know we got to work out. Okay, good, fine. But what else?
Address the stress.
Okay.
Address the stress.
Wow.
If you're under a lot of stress, it's going to be really difficult to lose weight.
Say that again.
If you're under
that
a lot
again.
of stress, it's very difficult to lose weight. So, you
Okay.
know.
And then any foods that you think are in general good fat burning foods or foods that help boost the metabolism?
I would say, there's always so many different studies. They say this, they say that, they go this and that. But one of the things that I am more leaning toward, and I've gone back and forth, is doing more of a plant-based diet. That's healthier for you. And then more of your healthier fats. I think that will facilitate in that.
Okay. Diabetes, blood pressure.
That stress again.
Okay.
I cannot stress that enough about stress. But of course, watching what you eat, like if you just have to have that piece of whatever, cake, pie, that soda or whatever, don't couple it with something else sweet.
Right.
Just do the one thing and just try to flush your system out with a bunch of water.
Okay. And is that right after or during?
Right after, during,
Before?
before, after. Yeah, but it does help because once you start drinking the water and just kind of flushing things out, and then get up and move, kind of burn, try to burn some of that sugar off that you just.
Very good. Immune system. This is a big one, especially this time of the year.
Immune system. So proper rest. And if you decide to do the flu shot or not, I would, if you're around sick people, I'm a firm believer of taking things to enhance the immune system, so it's a lot of different herbs, a lot of different vitamins, people know the basic vitamin C, but there's a lot of different things that I do in the office. Like I have the Immuno Plus.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's your favorite. So that has everything from, it's a tincture. So it has echinacea, cat's claws, powder alcohol, just a bunch of herbs that help fight things, and it also helps to boost your immune system.
Excellent. And then a tincture is something that's in a liquid form.
Right. Liquid based with alcohol.
Gotcha. And then allergies.
Allergies. First seeing what, I would like to say this. Many times people have sensitivities to different things and they don't even realize it. And it causes inflammation. So see if you have a sensitivity to things, because coupled with, and what type of allergies are you talking about? Food allergies or just overall environmental?
Actually, let's do both.
So with food allergies, of course, stay away from those types of foods that can cause inflammation. But staying away from sugar, because sugar causes inflammation. Right. And so that can worsen your symptoms of any type of allergy that you may have in the environment.
Okay. And then what about environmental allergens? Is that the same thing as far as avoiding the sugar?
Yeah, and there's different things that you can try. You want to stay away from certain foods that also can flare up the histamine. I did a health nugget on that too. Go to my health nuggets. A lot of these questions can be answered because I have done different things on that. I can say stay away from processed stuff. Processed foods, sugars, all of those things will cause inflammation in addition to the environmental things.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're
Oh, wait, I'm
welcome.
sorry. I'm lying. One more. Headaches and migraines.
Seeing where it's coming from.
Okay.
Is it a sensitivity from foods that you're eating? Is it due to a misalignment? Is it due to, tension, headaches? Maybe due to poor posture, like tech neck.
And what's tech neck?
Tech neck is basically when your head is in forward flexion pretty much all the time, from looking at electronic devices, from your iPads to your laptops to your cell phones. And what happens is it strains the muscles, and that muscle tension can pull on the cervical spine or the neck and cause headaches and other issues. Yes.
Okay. And so to deal with tech neck, obviously posture, or if you have to look at your phone, look at it eye level or?
Yep, look at it eye level, take breaks. A lot of people are getting work stand desks, where you don't have to be at your computer all day. And ergonomically, just making sure that, things like your monitor, if you have to work at your monitor, is at eye level, and then you're not looking down like this. But yeah, bringing devices up this way versus looking down.
And putting that pressure on your neck.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, on your Facebook page, I think on the Total Touch Facebook page as well as your Facebook page is where people can find a lot of your health nuggets.
Right. And then I also have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So that is Dr. Renee Gilmore is DC.
Okay. And they can find some of the health nuggets there,
The health
too.
nuggets are there. And then also on Facebook if they're not on Facebook.
Fabulous.
And then on my website, if you go on the website under Health Nuggets, About Us, there's a list of health nuggets, and then you also can click on the link.
And what's the website?
TotalTouchCare.com.
Okay. So as we wrap up, I'm bringing you to the Sue part. And the Sue is where I ask you questions that you cannot look at, and you've got to answer. This has nothing to do with anything we talked about tonight.
Okay.
But you got it.
Okay.
So, but this is an easy one. So would you rather be the first person to explore a planet or be the inventor of a drug that cures a deadly disease?
You know what I'm going to say to
Right.
that.
This one was easy. This was a no-brainer. What disease?
What disease? Hate.
You gotta chop some people's heads off of that.
Imagine if we could cure that, though.
Right.
That probably is a disease.
It's rooted in some shenanigans, that's for sure.
Yes.
But no, what disease would you?
Cancer.
All forms?
All forms.
There you go. That was an easy one.
Although I really think that don't get me started on that.
No, go ahead.
I believe that cancer will never be cured because it's too much money in making.
Oh, absolutely.
When people sick, so there'll never be a cure. There always will be research. There will always be things out there, but it will never be cured. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we need to know that.
Right.
So you need to look outside of the box. So that's a different. Getting on that is a
no, but I appreciate you saying that, because it's true. I mean, there's no money to be made if people are well. The industry makes money off of people being sick and the fear of being sick.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that have been found to cure cancer or to cure a person from cancer. A lot of times it's not, just giving a toxin and cutting things out, or even if you decide to go that route, then now you need a lifestyle change.
Right.
So not throwing salt. If somebody decides to go that route, then that's good. But then you got to get those dead cancer cells out your body. You got to change your lifestyle. You got to change things so that it doesn't come back,
right,
which it normally does with a vengeance and metastasize all over the body. So
another show on that. We'll come back to that. What's the most useless talent that you have?
My singing. I can't make any money off of it.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer is my singing, and my the Lord knew what He was doing, because I'd be a hot mess if I could sing.
I got you. What's the craziest thing that you've done?
What's the craziest thing that I've done? I haven't gone skydiving like you, but I've gone like real white water rafting, and I'm not a good swimmer whatsoever.
That's crazy.
Not whatsoever. We were in Tennessee. I was in chiropractic school, and my crazy classmates flipped the raft over. Thought it was fun.
What?
I was just so mad. I said, see, that's what happens when you doing stuff you're not supposed
to be doing. But, oh gosh, I'm sure that was
just like,
oh my gosh.
I had on my life jacket and all of that stuff, but I did not want to be in the water.
Right.
Yeah,
of course.
So, white water rafting.
Yeah, you're not doing that again, I'm guessing. That'll be a no. Okay. You should jump out of a plane. It was awesome. Yeah. No? Okay. All right. Where would you go tomorrow morning if you had unlimited income?
Where would I go? You know what? I've yet to go to Africa. So that's on my to-do list to maybe this year or next year. I would love to go to Africa.
Which countries?
Ghana would be one. And then I would say probably Egypt, because I would like to see the pyramids.
Yeah, definitely put that on your short list.
Yeah.
For sure. What does it mean to live a good life? Now we're getting philosophical.
To me, a good life is being happy. So being happy, just having my health, having my family, and having joy. Okay.
And you think that's universal?
I would think so. I think that there are a lot of people that live the really simple life, have nothing, and they're very happy because they have their health, they have their family, they have a roof over their head, and they're good.
And that's it. Okay. And of course, the final question, if you could choose one song to play every time you walk into a room for the rest of your life,
goodness,
what would it be?
Man, do you know how much I love music?
Yes.
To narrow it down to one. So repeat that question one more time.
One song.
One song.
Boom, chicka, pow,
Just
pow.
one?
Every time you walk into a room,
Every time.
child, is blaring. That is your theme song for the rest of your life.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, there's so much. You know what I would... Okay, you know the song by Alicia Myers, I Want to Thank You? I'm going back. I want to thank you.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. For shining your light on me.
Every time you go.
I ain't got to tell any girl.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
That was why I walked into that on my wedding.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we walked into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Renee. You made our last show for, not quite yet, Steve, not quite yet. I made our last show absolutely phenomenal, and I thank you.
Thank you.
because what is so important to us is that we have the opportunity to really learn basic things about our health, the importance of chiropractic care, whether you decide that that's something you want to look into or not, but just understanding like how important the spine is and alignment and all of that affects your body, not just in the short term with an adjustment, but in the long term of really getting to the root of it. So I thank you so much. It means the world. So one more time, how can people get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me either on my website, totaltouchcare.com.
Okay.
I have a personal Facebook page or my business page, which is Total Touch Chiropractic Wellness Center. YouTube channel, Dr. Renee Gilmore, DC.
And then on Facebook, is it Renee Gilmore Rouson, or is it just Renee Gilmore?
It's Renee Gilmore Rouson.
Rouson.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
You're fine.
Because I always call you Dr. Renee.
That's right.
All right.
No, exactly.
So this is Giving Tuesday. Before we wrap it up and talk about what's coming up next in January, this is Giving Tuesday, and I just want to give a shout out to all of those of you who are entrepreneurs, who are running nonprofits. It is so important that you take an opportunity, because it's not too late tonight, tomorrow, to take an opportunity to find a nonprofit that's important to you to give back, because especially nonprofits that really directly impact our kids, that impact adults, that really make an impact in our community, I really strongly encourage you to give back, because it's Giving Tuesday. So what better way to be able to show that, and to whom much is given, much is required. So take a moment. Of course, shameless plug for I Speak Now, which is my nonprofit that I started while I was on the bench, which is ispeaknow.org, where we instill passion, pride, and confidence in our children and young adults so that they recognize their future is limitless. That's an organization that I started while I was on the bench as a district court judge. I encourage you to go to the website to learn more. We're doing big things now, and 2020 is going to be amazing for us. So shout out to the board of directors. Shout out to all the schools that we've worked with since the program's inception in 2015. So whatever organization that you support, please take an opportunity to give back. I'm so excited. Dun, 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 dun. So we are kicking off 2020 with a bang, and I mean that literally. So we are going to be talking about sex, y'all. We're going to be talking about sex. We're going to be talking about relationships. Our guest will be Todd Malloy. He's actually here in Charlotte. If you have not heard of him, you will, because he is the first Black male sex therapist, period. Wow. And a lot of people don't even know that he's here in Charlotte. But he's a certified sex therapist, a certified sex counselor. He obviously has his own practice. But what's so interesting is his story. He's a former pastor. He's a former engineer. Like, his story is so dope, because it takes you on in a complete journey of how he's gotten to where he is, but talking about the things that we don't want to talk about in terms of what sex and what's taboo, but also from a relationship standpoint in terms of building healthy relationships, especially in the age of where we are now, where relationships have shifted. So we are going to have a very candid conversation where I certainly encourage you to submit your questions. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to definitely start off 2020 in a major way. So thank you again, Dr. Renee, for joining us. Obviously, please support all of the other shows on the network, the project, our newest show, and she's not up here, which is Beautiful People, with Ohavia Phillips, The Slant, The Situation, Unapologetically Black, Frankly Speaking, Channel 13, Crafted, and all of our shows. Make sure that you support those. And obviously, if you've not joined us at Square Media Network, please make sure you do, because 2020 is going to be an amazing year. And as always, subscribe, like us, follow us. Thank you for joining us this season as we wrap up our first show. It's been an amazing ride, and there's so much more to come. Thank you guys for joining us on The Conversation. We'll see you January the 9th. Bye, y'all.